Hello friends. Sorry, that was a little bit more vocal fry than I was expecting. So it's nearly September, and you know what that means. I need another summer dress. It makes sense, I promise. All will become clear. Since I made the skirt that always fits video, people have been throwing around ideas for a dress that always fits, and I know that Charlie from the Stitchery did a split side pinafore dress, which looks really cool and really fun, but I wasn't quite feeling that for this project. However, what I did find was this pattern for the Hanbok Wrap Dress by Sewing Therapy, which kept showing up on my Instagram feed, and every single time I was like, I want one. So we're gonna make one. Now's the time. Like, it's chic, it's elegant, it's adjustable, it doesn't look overly complicated, it's got built-in ideas for colour blocking, which appeals to me very much. You'll have seen on a couple of recent projects I've been using some spiderweb pattern as lining on things because I didn't like the grey on black spiderweb pattern because it's got spiders on it. But the other side of that duvet colour was this actually nice black on white spiderweb pattern. So I'm going to use that instead. Just to be clear, if it's not obvious from all the other things you're going to see me wearing in this video, most likely, this is not a costume. I wear Halloween prints all of the time. When I say all of the time, I mean it's like 40% of my wardrobe now, and I'm just annoyed that it's not more. Hence we're making a dress. Also, the nice thing about getting a pattern someone else has already made is that I don't need to do any pattern drafting. All I have to do is download the PDF and print it out. So let's do that first. Luckily for me, the lovely people at Mubyn have sent me one of their thermal printers, which will make printing my pattern super easy. The printer is lightweight and portable. It's only 750 grams with a built-in battery, so there's no wires or plugs needed. Because it's a thermal printer, it uses heat-sensitive paper rather than expensive ink cartridges. I'm using the Mubyn paper, which is BPA-free, FSC certified, non-toxic and eco-friendly. This printer can use various paper types, so whether your pattern is in A4 or US letter sizes, you'll be able to use the paper you need, and it takes both folded and roll formats. The only consideration for me is that the paper will change colour if heated, so no ironing these pattern pieces. I started by testing out one of Sewing Therapy's free patterns to get the scale right, and I could get started straight away. I'm very sensitive to disruptions to my workspace, and the printer is very quiet, with no weird ink or hot machinery smells like an inkjet printer has. It's also much less messy as there's no ink to transfer onto your hands or fabric. It connects to your phone via Bluetooth or your computer via a USB cable, and it was very straightforward to get printing test sheets and easy to resize prints until the scale square came out at the right size. I also found the weight of the paper really easy to work with. It's robust without being overly heavy or difficult to pin through. Open up the app. Connect to the printer. I don't have any paper in it at the moment, so let's sort that out. The paper's got little black marks on the back side, so you know which way around you're going. So that's all in place. So back in the app, I'm going to go to Document Print. That's the Hanbok vest that I printed earlier. So I'm going to import new file. That's the dress. Go to Print. Now to start off with, I'm just going to print page 1 so I can check the scale. It remembers the paper width I gave it from printing the vest, and I want it landscape. Cool. Quick check. Yeah, scale still works. So I'm happy with that one, so I'll go back to print the rest of it. And we'll just do page 2 to 36 this time, and we'll print that. And I can cancel it basically anytime I want, either by pressing this button or, so at the end of each page, it's going to pause. I kind of like that because it means that if I want to, I can then cancel it at that point if I realize I've made a mistake, either by hitting the button on top or the button on my phone. But otherwise, there's nothing else to do. I can just leave this to print and go have a cup of tea. Mubyn have offered a coupon code for my viewers, so don't forget to check out the link in the description if you'd like to pick up your own thermal printer. They come in several colours, including pink and the white that I got, and have a 2-year warranty. Many thanks to Mubyn for sending me this printer. Now let's get on with the project. One thing I discovered a little too late is that you don't need to print the whole pattern. If you're comfortable drafting your own rectangles, you can just print pages 1 to 18 for smaller sizes or 1 to 24 for larger sizes, and that will give you all the shapes and the instructions for the rectangular pieces. If you'd rather just cut around a pattern piece even for the rectangles, you can print out all of the pages. Cool. Okay, so that's going to be the skirt. I'm going to have to do some Frankensteining there because I foolishly cut out the skirt panels in the size that it said and then checked the extremely detailed pattern notes, which said that this dress was originally made for someone who's 5'4" and I am 5'7". So we've lengthened the skirt, or we're going to lengthen the skirt. I still need to assemble that. I've cut everything else out. The first step tells you to put interfacing on some of the pieces, and I'm not going to do that. I don't really do interfacing, so we'll just roll with that and see how it goes. And then the next step is stay stitching the necklines, which it very clearly says do not skip this step. I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do that. Then it's making the ties, then it's putting the darts in, and after that, it looks like everything just follows as you would expect. So I guess let's get going and see how we do. So my regular machine is broken at the moment, and I don't want to talk about it. Luckily I have backup, which is the Singer Simple that I bought purely because it is the cheapest machine that will do one-step buttonholes, and that was the only thing I felt was lacking in my life, was machine buttonholes that actually worked. But it is now currently being my main sewing machine, and I hate it. If you're one of the many people who has told me that you feel intimidated by sewing machines, that you don't like them, that they scare you and they're unpredictable and aggressive, and you're using something like this, like an entry model plastic modern machine, I'm so sorry. I wish I could say that at least they're cheap, but my vintage Singer, which is metal all the way through, works beautifully, will sew through anything, has gradual speed increase as you put your foot down, and doesn't yank the thread out of the machine every time you start sewing. It cost me 20 whole pounds. I think people think that vintage machines are expensive because everyone wants to buy the really pretty hand crank and treadle ones, or the very early, like 1950s cast iron say, no, buy one from the 70s. They are indestructible and ugly, so no one wants them. They'll cost you like somewhere between 20 and 50 pounds, and they will run until the ends of the earth. Okay, I'm saying this and mine is broken. We checked it hasn't blown a fuse, but I think it's blown a wire somewhere internally. It should be very fixable. I just need to get it fixed. The mechanism and everything's fine. It's just the electronics has shorted out somewhere internally. Potentially even just the cable is broken. Unclear. I need to get it fixed, but that requires talking to a person, and I don't have time right now, so we're gonna suffer through this thing. I've stay stitched the necklines, and I also, because I was there, I've sewn the darts in. Couple of things. One, I'm super glad I double checked what the seam allowance is, because this pattern has a 1 centimeter seam allowance, which is not what I'm used to in commercial patterns, so I'm really glad I just didn't wade in. I was skeptical about the darts. I don't normally need darts, because I don't curve. Yeah, we're gonna try it, at least for the first one, see how it goes. So now what I'm going to need to do is take out the tailor's tacks, bury the ends of the thread back into the dart. Then I got to press these, and then to make the ties, it says do them like double fold bias binding, which I assume means I'm gonna have to iron them. So I'm probably gonna have to just like heat up the iron. 50% of sewing is cutting out and 25% of it's ironing. The actual time at the sewing machine, pretty minimal. Okay, so that step is mildly confusing. If you follow the paper saver instructions to make the ties, it tells you to cut 1 inner tie, but if you look on the pattern piece, it tells you to cut 2, and you do need 2. Also, the step for the ties says outer ties, long tie, short tie, but then when you get to the bodice, it wants you to start sewing the inner ties into the bodice, which I assume means you need to sew them up into a tube. I don't know why you'd be sticking them in raw. So anyway, do all your ties at the same time, and I assume sew your inner ties into tubes, just like your outers. The next step is doing the darts, which I've already done, so we can now move on to the bodice construction, which, let's have a look. Yeah, so the next thing we're gonna do is sew the shoulder seams, then it's got instructions on where to put the inner ties. We'll sew the side seams, and then see where we go from there. So tie's all sorted and the sleeves are in, and I have managed... Yeah, I've managed to get both sleeves in the right way, which is not a given. Oh man, it's gonna look so cute. I'm gonna try it on. Oh wow, I was like, I'm gonna lengthen the sleeves by an inch just on the off. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more than that. Okay, well, you know, next time. This is probably doing horrible things to the mic. Darts land in the right places, and I'm gonna see when the waistband is on, but I think possibly the next time I make this I will lengthen it. But that's where we are now. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the waistband on to the bodice, finish it, top stitch it, put the ties, the long and the short ties, onto the waistband, put the front facing onto the front of the bodice. Unclear at this point how I finish the back of the neck, but we'll figure that out. And then I think it's the skirt. So not loads to do, but some. Okay, I've done the front facing wrong. This is 100% not the pattern's fault. The instructions are actually pretty clear, and even if they're not, there's an entire video showing you how to do it that is linked within the PDF. But I thought I was too clever for that, so I've just gone ahead and done whatever I want, and I've done it wrong. So what you're supposed to do is sew this front edge, finish it, and understitch it, and not go up round the corner into this. I think I can still fudge it because not this part should be covered by the neckband. The pattern wants me to put the skirt on before the neckband, which feels unintuitive to me, as we've literally just discussed. The last time I freestyled, it caused problems. So we're actually gonna take a break. I think this is the sign it's time to take a break. And yeah, I feel like that's a good plan. Pause here, have some food and some tea, and then I'll read through the instructions and decide whether I'm actually going to put the skirt on before the neckband, or whether I think I can get away with putting the neckband on first, because then I will have less dress to wrangle. But so far, feeling pretty positive about it. Not 100% on the fit. The sizing is very definitely for someone who is much shorter than I am, but we can fix that. We can fix that in the second one. If you don't know me and you don't know how I sew, I like to make things over and over and over again because I don't like making mock-ups. So I make the real thing very quickly and wear it, but it's also kind of a mock-up. Wow, definitely time for a break. Okay, cool. See you potentially later, potentially tomorrow. Okay, new day, back into it. I have unpicked my mistake I made with the front facing. I then very confidently started on the collar neckband that was not the next step because I thought it would be fine, and then realized why it's not the next step, and it's because you want to fold the front facing over the skirt once it's attached. Almost like if you follow the instructions. I'm sorry, I don't make enough indie patterns and I'm not used to the whole the instructions are actually good thing, or make sense, or go in the right order. The instructions genuinely are in the right order for the cleanest result. Not necessarily the easiest, but the cleanest and best result, I think, is following the instructions. I guess we're gonna make the skirt next. The skirt should have 2 panels, or 3 in bigger sizes. However, because I am using a sheet, it's still in 2 panels, but they're not the same size. I've got one very long one and then a little one to fill in the gap. We're just gonna fudge this. The overall length of the skirt I think is going to be the same as it should have been. I've also made it longer because I'm tall. That just needs finishing around the edges and hemming. The instructions say to do a double fold hem. I'm probably just gonna overlock it and top stitch it because I'm lazy. Would it be nicer if I did a double fold? Yes, but I don't wanna. Then I think we attach the skirt to bodice by pleating it, and I'm gonna double check what the instructions want me to do with the pleats because I'm unclear at this point whether it's one direction or whether we reverse direction at the center back, because my gut instinct says reverse direction at the center back. However, this is a new style for me. It's something very different, so I'm gonna follow what the instructions tell me to do for once. While I'm definitely going to make some alterations the next time I make this, such as lengthening the sleeves, for a first attempt I'm really happy with this dress. I love that it's adjustable and the construction is really well thought through. I can't wait to make several more of these with different fabrics, and next time I'll definitely explore some of the suggestions for mixing different colours and prints. I've also seen on Instagram that Sarah Kim, the designer, has shown you can hack the dress pattern into a top or skirt, so I feel like there's lots of options. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you again to Mubyn for the printer, which has come in very handy for another thing I'm working on at the moment, which is also the reason there may be a little bit of a break in videos for the rest of the month. Only a mere 5 years after getting married, my partner and I are finally going on our honeymoon. I've been promised a balmy 28 degrees, so this dress is going to come in incredibly handy. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep the YouTube gods happy, follow me on Instagram to see pictures of my cat, and down in the description box you can find my PO box, which will be live at least until the end of the month, and also a link to my Ko-fi page where you can make a one-off or recurring donation to support this channel and keeping Thursday supplied with bonus treats in his luxury cat hotel. Swear he's gonna have a better time than I am. Ko-fi supporters get early access to all of my videos, and I couldn't do what I do without their help. Dream big, and I'll see you in October for the happiest time of the year.